To understand the difference between index funds, mutual funds, ETFs, and hedge funds, we first need to understand one simple thing. What exactly is a fund? A fund is simply a pool of money. Many investors contribute money into one shared investment. That money is then used to buy a collection of assets. These assets can include stocks, bonds, real estate, or other investments. Instead of buying one company yourself, you own a small piece of many. Think of it like organizing a trip with friends. Instead of one person paying for everything, everyone contributes money into one shared budget. That budget is then used for hotels, food, transportation, and activities. In investing, the same idea applies. Thousands, sometimes millions of investors contribute money into a fund. A professional manager or a predefined system then invests that money across many assets, and in return, each investor owns a small portion of the entire portfolio. This structure creates one of the most important advantages in investing. Diversification. Instead of relying on one company to succeed, your money is spread across many. If one company struggles, the others help balance the impact. That is why funds are often considered one of the simplest ways for beginners to invest. You do not need to research dozens of companies. You simply buy one fund that already holds them. But not all funds are built the same way. Some follow the market, some try to beat the market, some trade throughout the day, others are only priced once after the market closes. And a few use complex strategies designed only for wealthy investors. So now that we understand what a fund is, let's look at the first type, index funds. Based on how the funds are managed, funds can be divided into index funds and actively managed funds. Actively managed funds are run by professional fund managers. They decide which investments to buy and sell, trying to outperform the market. Because of the research and trading involved, these funds usually come with higher management costs. Index funds, on the other hand, simply follow a market index. A market index is simply a list of companies selected based on specific rules. For example, the S&P 500 tracks 500 of the largest companies in the United States. Companies like Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and hundreds of others. When you buy an S&P 500 index fund, you are not buying one company. You are buying a tiny piece of all 500. That means your investment rises and falls with the overall market. Index funds are called passive investments because there is no manager trying to guess which stock will go up next. The fund simply copies the index. If the index adds a company, the fund adds it too. If a company leaves the index, the fund removes it. This simple approach has one major advantage: very low fees. Because there is no team of analysts constantly buying and selling stocks, the operating costs are extremely small. Many index funds charge an expense ratio between 0.02% and 0.20% per year. That means if you invest $1,000, your annual fee could be just a few dollars. Another advantage is diversification. One fund can hold hundreds of companies across different industries: technology, healthcare, finance, consumer goods, energy. This reduces the risk of putting all your money into a single company. Some well-known index funds and ETFs include VOO, Vanguard S&P 500 ETF. Tracks the S&P 500, giving exposure to 500 of the largest U.S. companies at a very low cost. SPY, SPDRS, and P500 ETF. Also tracks the S&P 500, but it is the oldest and most heavily traded ETF in the world. VTI, Vanguard, Total Market, ETF, tracks the entire U.S. stock market, including large, mid-size, and small companies. Each of these funds gives investors exposure to a large portion of the stock market. This is one reason many long-term investors prefer index funds. They are simple, low cost, and historically, they have performed very well over long periods of time. But not everyone believes the market should simply be followed. Some investors believe skilled professionals can outperform the market. And that belief leads us to the next type of fund: mutual funds. Mutual funds look very similar to index funds at first. They also pool money from many investors. They also invest in a collection of assets like stocks or bonds. But the key difference is how they are managed. Mutual funds can be both index funds and actively managed funds, and this is an important detail many beginners miss. A mutual fund is just a structure. It can be actively managed, where a manager picks investments, or it can be an index mutual fund, which simply tracks a market index like the S&P 500. According to a U.S. market approximation, actively managed mutual funds make up about 65 to 70% of the market, while index or passive mutual funds account for only about 30 to 35%. This means that although passive investing has grown quickly, actively managed mutual funds still represent the majority of mutual funds today. Here is a list of major index mutual funds and actively managed mutual funds. Actively managed mutual funds are run by professional fund managers. This means a portfolio manager, or sometimes an entire investment team, decides which investments to buy, which to sell, and when to make those decisions. Their goal is simple: beat the market. For example, if the S&P 500 grows 10% in a year, an active manager might try to achieve 12% or more. To do that, they analyze companies, they study financial statements, they research industries, and they make decisions about when to buy or sell. In theory, this sounds appealing. You are paying professionals to find better opportunities, but there is a trade-off: higher fees. Because active funds require analysts, research teams, and frequent trading, the costs are significantly higher. Typical mutual fund expense ratios often range from 0.5% to 1.5% per year, sometimes even higher, and those fees can quietly reduce long-term returns. For example, a 1% fee may not sound like much, but over 30 years of investing, that difference can reduce your final portfolio by tens of thousands of dollars. Another important fact many investors overlook: most actively managed funds do not consistently beat the market over long periods. Several studies have shown that the majority of active funds underperform broad market indexes after fees. This is one reason many investors prefer passive strategies. However, mutual funds are still widely used. Many employer retirement plans offer mutual funds. Some investors prefer professional management, and certain mutual funds focus on specific sectors, countries, or strategies. But there is another type of fund that combines some of the advantages of both stocks and index funds: ETFs. ETFs stand for exchange traded funds. They are also funds that pool money from many investors, but they have one important difference. ETFs trade on a stock exchange, just like regular stocks. That means you can buy or sell them anytime during market hours. The price changes throughout the day. Mutual funds work differently. They are usually priced once per day after the market closes. This price is called the net asset value, or NAV. For long-term investors, this difference often does not matter much, but for some investors, the flexibility of ETFs is useful. Just like mutual funds, ETFs can also be either index funds or actively managed funds. However, the vast majority of ETFs are index-based. In the US market, about 95 to 97% of ETFs track an index, while only around 3 to 5% are actively managed ETFs. Here's a list of major index ETFs and actively managed ETFs. Actively managed funds involve many human decisions. Portfolio managers analyze companies, make predictions, and try to beat the market. Because of the research teams and frequent trading involved, these funds usually charge higher fees, yet many of them still struggle to consistently outperform the market over long periods. Index ETFs work very differently. They simply follow a market index. For example, the ETF VOO tracks the S&P 500. The ETF VTI tracks the entire US stock market. And VXUS tracks international companies outside the United States. Because the strategy is passive, the operating costs are extremely low, often just a few hundredths of a percent per year. And that is one of the main reasons index ETFs have become so popular among investors. ETFs are also known for being tax efficient, especially in some countries. This structure can reduce certain taxable events compared to traditional mutual funds. However, ETFs also have one potential downside. Because they are easy to trade, some investors buy and sell them too frequently. That behavior often leads to emotional decisions, buying when markets are rising, selling when markets fall. Long-term investors usually benefit more from holding their investments over many years. Still, ETFs remain one of the most widely used investment tools today. They combine diversification, flexibility, and low costs. But there is one more type of fund we need to discuss, and it works very differently from the others: hedge funds. Hedge funds are very different from the other funds we discussed. They are usually private investment funds, and they are typically available only to wealthy individuals and large institutions. In many countries, investors must meet certain requirements to participate. For example, they may need a high income or a high net worth. This is because hedge funds often use complex and risky strategies. Unlike index funds, which simply follow the market, hedge funds try to generate profits in many different ways. Some of the strategies include short selling. This means betting that a company's stock price will fall. Leverage. This means borrowing money to invest more capital. and derivatives. These are financial contracts that can multiply gains but also losses. Because of these strategies, hedge funds have the potential for high returns, but they can also carry significantly higher risks. Another major difference is the fee structure. Many hedge funds follow the famous 2 and 20 model. That means a 2% annual management fee plus 20% of any profits the fund earns. Compared to index funds or ETFs, these fees are extremely high. That is one reason hedge funds are usually designed for investors who already have substantial wealth. So now that we have looked at all 4 types of funds, index funds, mutual funds, ETFs, and hedge funds, here is a clear comparison table. Starting to invest in funds is much simpler than most people think. In fact, it usually takes just 3 basic steps. Step 1, open a brokerage account. A brokerage account is simply a platform that allows you to buy investments, stocks, ETFs, index funds. Some platforms make this very beginner friendly. For example, apps like Moomoo, Webull allow investors to buy ETFs, track portfolios, and analyze markets from a phone or computer. Platforms like Interactive Brokers allow international investors to access and invest in global markets. Once your account is open, you move to step 2. Choose a broad market fund. Many beginners start with funds that track large parts of the market. For example, an S&P 500 fund or a total market fund. Examples include VOO, which tracks the S&P 500, VTI, which tracks the entire US stock market, VT, which tracks global stocks. These types of funds give you exposure to hundreds, sometimes thousands of companies in a single investment. Then comes step 3, invest consistently. Instead of trying to predict when the market will rise or fall, many investors follow a strategy called dollar cost averaging. This means investing the same amount of money at regular intervals. For example, you might invest $200 every month. Some months the market is higher, some months it is lower. But over time, the average price balances out. And this approach removes the pressure of trying to perfectly time the market. Once investors understand this process, investing becomes far less complicated. But another question beginners often ask is, what should a simple portfolio actually look like? A portfolio is just a combination of investments you hold. For many long-term investors, the goal is diversification. That means spreading investments across different parts of the market. A simple beginner portfolio might look like this. About 60% in US stocks. This gives exposure to many of the largest companies in the United States. One example fund is VTI, the Vanguard Total Market ETF. This single fund holds thousands of US companies, from large corporations to smaller growing businesses. Next, about 30% in international stocks. This adds exposure to companies outside the United States. Examples include businesses across Europe, Asia, and emerging markets. A commonly used fund is VXUS, the Vanguard Total International Stock ETF. Finally, around 10% in what we can call stabilizers. These are investments designed to reduce volatility. One common example is bonds. Bonds tend to be less volatile than stocks. They can help stabilize a portfolio during market downturns. Besides bonds, investors can also use several other assets to help stabilize a portfolio. One option is bond ETFs. For example, BND, the Vanguard Total Bond Market ETF. This fund holds a mix of government and corporate bonds. It helps reduce overall portfolio volatility. Another option is Treasury securities. These include U.S. Treasury bills, Treasury notes, and Treasury ETFs like SGOV or SHY. They are backed by the U.S. government. Because of that, they are generally considered very low risk. Some investors also use money market funds. Examples include VMFXX, Vanguard Federal Money Market Fund, and SPAXX, Fidelity Government Money Market Fund. These funds are very stable and highly liquid. They are often used for short-term cash management. Another choice is dividend ETFs. For example, SCHD, Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF or VYM, Vanguard High Dividend Yield ETF. These are still stocks, but they tend to be less volatile and provide regular income through dividends. Finally, some investors add REITETFs, which invest in real estate. Examples include VNQ, Vanguard Real Estate ETF, and SCHH, Schwab USREITETF. These funds provide exposure to real estate and generate income from rents. This type of portfolio spreads risk across multiple regions and asset classes, instead of relying on one company or one country. Of course, every investor's situation is different. Some people prefer more stocks, others prefer more stability, but the key idea remains the same. Diversification helps reduce risk over time, and funds make diversification simple. There is one important point that needs to be clarified. Bonds, bond ETFs, money market funds, and treasury securities all generate interest-based income. Some actively managed funds may also include interest-based investments. For that reason, these options may not be suitable for Muslim investors who follow Islamic finance principles. Now, regardless of the specific assets you choose, even with a well-diversified portfolio, beginners often make a few common mistakes. Even with the right funds, many beginners still lose money, not because the investments are bad, but because of behavior. One common mistake is trying to time the market. Many investors wait for the perfect moment to buy, but predicting short-term market movements is extremely difficult. Instead, long-term investors usually focus on consistency, invest regularly, and stay invested. Another mistake is trading too often. ETFs make buying and selling very easy, but frequent trading can lead to emotional decisions. Buying after prices rise, selling after prices fall. Over time, that behavior can hurt returns. Another common mistake is chasing popular investments. When a certain stock or sector becomes popular, many investors rush in, but by the time everyone is talking about it, prices are often already high. And finally, many beginners ignore fees. A small difference in expense ratios might not seem important, but over 20 or 30 years, higher fees can reduce your final portfolio significantly. That is why many long-term investors prefer simple, low-cost funds. Stay diversified, keep costs low, and remain patient. Because in investing, consistency often beats complexity. And that brings us to the most important takeaway from everything we discussed. A fund is simply a pool of money from many investors used to buy a collection of assets. Index funds follow a market index. They are simple, low cost, and widely used for long-term investing. Mutual funds are usually actively managed. They try to outperform the market, but they often come with higher fees. ETFs are funds that trade on stock exchanges. They offer flexibility, diversification, and often low cost. And hedge funds are private investment funds designed mainly for wealthy investors, using more complex strategies and charging much higher fees. For many beginners, the most important principles are simple. Diversify your investments, keep costs low, and invest consistently over time. Those 3 habits have helped millions of investors build wealth slowly and steadily. You can also find a mind map summary of this video along with the comparison table in the description. Until next time, invest with clarity, not confusion.